Hello and welcome, my name is Piera and today I'm here with my June wrap up. So as you can probably tell, I'm still super sick, hence my voice has dropped like 4 octaves. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Feel free to give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you so desire. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell you about June. This month I read a total of 5 books, one being an audiobook, one being a new favorite series that I've found. I also went to the Lifeline Book Festival. I have a vlog which you can find above, which includes a haul, although I will be doing another book haul in like the next 2 videos for all the books that I bought in June, which is probably gonna be bigger, so you could also just wait for that one. And if you stay tuned now, I have another freebie for you. So most of you by now have probably heard of Scribd. Scribd is an online digital library of books, ebooks, audiobooks, magazines. Ebooks and books are the same thing, I just realized. And they reached out and asked me if I'd be interested in giving you guys a free book, and I said I love free books and I love paying my rent, so here we are. For the next 30 days, I have a copy of Nevernight by J. Christoph for you guys. If you check the link down below, you can go get that free for 30 days on Scribd. Scribd is a lot cheaper than Audible. It's only $8.95 a month for unlimited reading. Obviously, I went with Nevernight because it is my favorite book and I would like to share it with you guys as much as I possibly can, and I thought what better way to do that. So if you're interested in reading Nevernight, I will leave a link down below and you guys can go and check that one out. And a huge shout out to Scribd for sponsoring this video, allowing me to continue making bookish content. Apart from that, let's get into the details of this month. This month was kind of wild. Jacob and I had like a bunch of acting related things, like I booked 2 commercials, he booked 2 commercials. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I worked with the guys at Lifeline to do a Lifeline Book Fest vlog, which I will leave again down below. I started this month off pretty sick. I didn't really get to do too much because I was dying, as you can still hear. We had our online show for our book of the month for Name of the Book last month, which was Lifelike. You can see that on my channel as well. I sound even worse then. But apart from that, June was pretty cruisy. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it through this video with this voice. Okay, like I said, I read 5 books this month. 2 of them are new favorites, so yay. First book that I read this month was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I read on audiobook. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is a historical fiction romance, sort of. I know, right? Why am I reading that? Well, let me tell you. Which follows a nobody journalist and fictional Hollywood icon, think like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, like that sort of level. Evelyn Hugo is a household name and she's donating all these gowns to charity and calls up this like nobody magazine and she's like, hi, I want this specific woman to interview me about my gowns, but when she gets there, she's like, I actually want you to write my whole life story, which is like a big deal. So this whole story is basically Evelyn telling this nobody journalist all her deepest, darkest secrets and being like, when I die, publish this book, which is fantastic. And what I loved about this book is Evelyn Hugo. If you have read the book and you're not in love with Evelyn Hugo, I don't know what's wrong with you. But apart from being this like self-serving, manipulative, but hard-working woman, she is just gentle and soft and beautiful. She's a bisexual woman, which plays a huge part, obviously, in the series, which is another reason that I absolutely adore it. But it's not my usual genre, but I am obsessed with it. The audiobook was heartbreaking. I cried like 4 times, completely ruined my life. So I really, really loved it. It was something different to what I usually read. It was like obviously like more real time, but if you haven't read it, go and read it now. I also read The Queens of Fenburn by Kendari Blake, which is the novella in the 3 Dark Crowns series. This has 2 novellas in it. One is a prequel that happened when the girls were younger. One is, it's also a prequel. It's in the past, The Last Oracle Queen. The first bit focuses on the girls when they are obviously young and in the Black Cottage. I remember, like, I haven't gone back and read them yet, but I remember liking the first 2 books, but having something that just didn't sit right with me and I couldn't figure out what it was. So I picked this one up, not reluctantly. Like, I really liked the world and I love the magic system and I was just trying to figure out why I couldn't get into it. And I read this and I really, really liked it. So I'm gonna go back and reread the first 2 books and just try and figure out why I didn't like it and see if it now changes my mind having read these 2 books, because it sounds like that's something that is so up my alley. I love like the general premise of the whole book and I just couldn't figure out why it didn't sit with me. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna reread it. I also read Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee, which is our name of the book of the month for this month, which is over, so it doesn't really matter. This is a YA superhero book, features a bisexual protagonist. Like, she lives in a world where like superheroes are a thing. Her parents are superheroes, but she does not have any powers. And she gets this internship working for her parents' like arch nemesis. Super weird, I know. As well as this budding romance between her and a girl that she goes to school with. Wasn't really my cup of tea. I mean, more so just like, if I had read this when I was 12, I would have loved it. But it was more just like the way it was written, the plot points, it was kind of predictable. I saw everything coming. The only thing that I did like about it was the romance and how relatable it was in terms of like our protagonist and her crush are like listening to this song, like the crush puts a song on and our protagonist is like, did she pick this song because she has a crush on me? And it's like, that's what the song is about, or did she just pick it because she liked it? Like, what is going on? And I was like, I can so relate to that. But I'll have more, obviously, thoughts about that in our live show and at our book club if you come to that. Now, the next 2 books that I read are part of my new favorite fantasy series. I'm only 1.5 books into it. There are 2 more books to come. but I'm already like, yes, I love it. This is exactly what I want. And that is The Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. This is the first book, Malice, and it is so good. I don't know why it took me so long to pick this up. I've had these books on my shelf at work for like months, and I was like, oh, whatever, like I'm not reading anything at the moment. I may as well get it. Like, this cover is awesome. I kind of dig the back of like the blurb. And I picked it up, and I got maybe like, I'll say like 100 pages in, and it was good, but it wasn't really like, it hadn't grabbed me. So I went online and I like looked up some Goodreads reviews just to see what other people were saying, and they were like, it definitely picks up, so like keep reading. Like, well, I've had problems like that with Nevernight, and Nevernight is my favorite book, so I was like, I'll just persevere. I came home that night and read like 10 more pages, and then it was like full on action. I was like, oh my god, I love it. This is a fantastic series. It is this thick world. This is set in the Banished Lands, which is where giants and humans used to live in peace, and then something terrible happened and the giants were like not wiped out but like pushed into the forest, basically. I'm doing a really bad job at summarizing it. It basically begins with this prophecy that has started to come true about this god war, when the good guys and the bad guys and the giants and the humans and the gods will all have this big huge fight. And there are two prophesized people. One is called the Black Sun and one is called the Bright Star, and they will like lead their people in a war, with the Black Sun being the bad guy and the Bright Star being the good guy. And it's just so good. You get like so many POVs. You have like a few that continue throughout the book. You have a few that just pop in here and there. I'm halfway through book 2 now, and like I'm getting some of the same POVs. I'm getting some different POVs, which is amazing. And I'm just so into these characters. Like, this is like a thick fantasy that you want when like you want to just submerge yourself into it, which is exactly what I've been doing. I cannot stop thinking about this series. My favorite character is probably Corbin. Little Corbin and his little Wolven and his little Colt and his sister and his friends and his like moral compass of being a good guy is just really, really great. So this is one of my new favorite fantasy series. I really, really love it. Like I said, I've still got book 2, 3, and 4 to go. I have no doubts that it's just gonna surpass, and then I'm gonna read A Time of Dread. Anyway, so this is what I'm talking about at the moment. I'm obsessed. So those are all the books that I read this month. Like I said, I've been super busy and then I've been super sick. So I had 3 days in bed where I was literally like, I had the perfect time to read. I could have finished like a book and a half, but I was just so sick that I couldn't stay awake, or I couldn't keep my eyes open, and I couldn't hold the weight of a book. Super frustrating, but I'm catching up for it right now. Oh, another thing I didn't mention, if you have seen my last video, or if you have been watching me on Instagram, on Twitter, and you didn't get a chance to catch the video, I did a Red Rising RPG with all my best friends. Best friend Caleb created it. Like, he created this RPG from scratch. If you don't know what an RPG is, it's like a role-playing game. Think like Dungeons and Dragons. A bunch of people sit around a table rolling dice and making moves. He set up this one where we're characters in the Institute pre-Darrow's time, so like pre the Rising, so it's still the Institute. And it's amazing. My character is named after my cat. I look like Victor, it's amazing. But I have a video from Wednesday up that you can check that out. Otherwise, I will leave a link below to all of like the paper and forms and stuff that you need if you want to play this RPG with your friends. So it was super fun. It's probably gonna last until we're like 100, so I'm ready to like spend my whole life being the ultimate geek. I want a LARP. LARP is apparently a thing where you dress up and play, like live action role playing, which makes so much more sense to me as an actor and a cosplayer. I was like, why don't we just do that? But apparently that's weird. But I'm definitely gonna dress up as my character for next time, so. But apart from that, that's pretty much all I've got. I'm losing my voice again, so I'm gonna have to just cut this video short. Trying to keep on that regular upload schedule, but still fighting off a cold. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, I have that free book for you guys from Scribd down below, so make sure you guys go and check that out if you haven't read Nevernight yet. Or if you just want to read it again. Like, we have to wait for Dark Dawn now, so we may as well reread it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!